Hi guys, and welcome to what I'm calling the 30-day MEAN Stack Honolulu Challenge. So I've set myself a challenge for the next 30 days to go through the MEAN Stack that we've created and actually turn that into a functioning app. And the idea will be that I'll post every day for the next 30 days, keep it nice and short, so under sort of 10 to 15 minutes, and you can take everything that we do and include it in your own app. All right, so let's get right into it. So in the first video that I did, I went through and actually installed the MEAN stack, and that's what I've got open in front of me here. And one of the things that we had to do as part of the installation process was get the database set up. So that was the MongoDB that we set up using Compose to actually get that up and hosted. So a couple of things for this particular video that I'm going to show you, things like what is the MEAN stack? So what are the different folders? What do they mean, and why do they sort of exist in that way? We see we've got four folders, four sort of high-level definitive folders as part of the stack, and then we've got a whole heap of kind of random files that are sitting in here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will just talk about a few important ones. So I'll start off with Package.json. If you're familiar with Node and any Node related projects, they all have this Package.json file. And I mentioned when we were going through the installation process that the name of the app and the description will end up here. So these are the details that we put in, or we just selected when we were going through the Yeoman generator setup process for the stack. So that things like the name, the description, the author, they came in through that pre-population process. We've got versions of Node and NPM, and these are what we used when we installed the stack. The scripts are things that happen when you actually start the app, or things that happen when you've completed the installation process, such as post-install. Don't worry too much about those. You can leave them pretty much as they are. The key things I want to draw your attention to in the package.json file are the things that live under the dependencies and the dev dependencies sections. So the dependencies are all the packages that NPM has gone through and installed when we actually set up the MEAN stack. So we've got things like Express, so that's our middleware, and that gets set up as part of the installation process. And we've got things like Passport. Passport is the authentication mechanism that we'll be using as part of the MEAN stack. And we've got things in here even like Forever. Forever is the process, the package that keeps your app up and running. So if Node died for some reason, it would restart and get your app up and running. And what we've got down the bottom here are dev dependencies. So dependencies are the packages that are used by the app, and the numbers next to them represent the version, or the lowest version of the dependency that your app uses. The dev dependencies are additional packages that are actually used in order to use your app when you're developing it. So things like Grunt and Karma. So Karma is used for your testing, so the test scripts that you write and that you run as part of your app. And Grunt helps you in that development process by kind of validating and minimizing parts of your application for you as you're developing. Now, why is this kind of process nice and important? The reason that these dependencies and these dev dependencies are important are because these are the things that your app uses to work and to run. And without these, there's probably something that would break and that wouldn't quite work. Now, when you need to add additional packages to your app, you usually will add them in here as well. Now, the things that are defined here, all these dependencies and dev dependencies, they're installed somewhere in your app. and the place that they're installed are in this folder here called Node modules. So everything in this folder coincides with a package in your package.json file. So that's very much a Node kind of standard to have this Node modules folder, and you'll see that in almost every Node package or project that you come across. So just to show you some examples, so if we look at these grunt packages here, you can see a whole heap of grunt related packages here. So there's, they will all coincide. Now there may be, in some instances, more packages installed in your app than what you've actually defined. And the reason for that is that each package that's defined here has its own package.json file and its own set of dependencies. So there may be times in your app where you actually have a package installed more than once because it's used by different packages, if that makes sense. So moving on up, so that was the package.json file. The Karma and the Grunt files are used for sort of your testing configurations. Grunt is used for identifying the tasks that we want Grunt to run when we run it. So we talked about in the first video, when we wanted to run our app, we just typed in the word grunt and it will go through and run a whole heap of different tasks. There's a lot sort of going on here, but it's actually not that complex. The next one I'm going to look at is this bower.json file. So I've mentioned in the last video that Bower is another package manager. So we sort of have two key ones. We use npm, which is Node's package manager for the server-side related packages. We use Bower to manage our client-side packages. Okay, so we've got Bootstrap and we've got all our Angular modules here. This isn't the full set of Angular modules. There are more than that, but these are definitely the key ones to get us up and running. Now, you may want to know where these packages are actually installed. They're not in the Node modules because that's just for the package.json files. What we have is we can tell Bower where we want the packages to be installed, and that's done using this bower.rc file. So in this file here, we actually point to the directory where we want to install the Bower file. So if we go to public lib, we'll see that the files that we had defined here in the bower.json file are installed in the library over here. So let's see what else we've got here. We've got a couple of files around JS. So these are configuration files for things that you want to provide hints for as you're writing your code. And it's used to try and keep your code consistent. So if you've got a lot of different developers working on the code, everyone's using the same consistent formats. Git ignore, these are the files or the folders that you want Git to ignore. So Git's the source control tool. So moving on, I won't go through each of these folders, but I will just tell you a little bit about what's behind them. So in the public folder is all of your Angular specific kind of code lives here. So this is all about what happens on the client, on the computer itself. So all the Angular stuff will live in here. The config folder, this includes your connections to MongoDB if you're running any APIs. It's really about your configurations for your app, primarily your server-side configurations. And then you've got at the top here the app itself, and not to be confused with the public folder. So public is all about your Angular, your client-side related code. App is all about your server-side related code, and that's split into that MVC model with your model, your views, your controllers, but these are all the things that happen on the server side. So you don't have a lot of views here. So for example, you've got your 404 500 error related views, and these are the types of things that kind of live they're kind of overarching or live outside of your Angular app. Okay, so they kind of surround it and package it, if you like. Um, and we will have a look at these in more detail in another video. So the idea of this video was really just to give you a really quick introduction to the structure of the app, and what we've got. Just again to reiterate, the app folder is all your server-side code. It's got your models on there. We're using Mongoose as our model structure to talk to MongoDB, and we will have a look at that in more detail. We've got config, which is all our configuration related data, our connection strings and things like that, and that's primarily used for your server-side code. We've got node modules, and they're installed based on the packages you identify in your package.json file. And lastly, where the guts of the app kind of lives is in this public folder, and that's where we'll be putting all of our Angular services and controllers and views and making our Angular magic kind of work. So I will leave you there for today, and I'll pick it up again tomorrow, where we'll actually start building out parts of the app. Thanks for joining me. Please subscribe to the channel or check out bossable.com for more details. Thanks again.